Hey, I want to show you something that I collect. I have a stone collection. Want to see? They're inside here. Look. Oops. Yeah, there's only 6 of them. Well, there's like 5 stones in a shell. So the reason why I have these stones and a shell is from, well, there was a movie I saw about a guy who collects stones that are very important to him. And no, I don't mean Thanos and the Avengers. The movie is from the 90s. And it stars Joe Pesci, and it's called With Honors. And it's about a homeless man who helps a college student out. And the young college student one day asks a question, what's your life about? And so Joe Pesci pulls out a little satchel and pours some stones into his hand and says, "This is my life." And he proceeds to, pick up each stone and tell a little story about the stone. Yeah, and I was very young and little when I saw that, and I thought that was a cool idea. So I tried to do that during a phase of my life, and here they are, 6 of them. So you know what? How about I tell you about them? I don't want to get this box dirty, so I brought a shirt to set it on. But no, I'll tell you about each. Here, look at this. So I can tell you about. So there are 6, and I'll tell you about the first one I collected. Now I take these from places, and on them I take a pen and I write down the place and the date or the year if I can remember it, so, to help me remember in case if my memory goes bad. But this one is from 2002. And I took this from a place where I had a lot of uncertainty about, especially in that part of my life, that time in my life. I was going through a phase where I did not know about my future at all. Nothing. I just knew that I was taking one day at a time and going through it. And looking back on this stone, it reminds me of a lot of the things that I would read. I did a lot of reading during this time. And things that I learned that were not in any kind of reading, but were things that I had to figure out for myself by doing them. Some were fun, some were not. but I did them. And that's what I think about with this, is uncertainty and discovery. So maybe that's what this stone means. You know, I don't look at these and think about, this stone means this, and this is what it's called, and this is what I think. I think it's more of like a it encapsulates a period of time, even if it's a short period, like maybe a couple months. So that's one. So here's number 2. Oh, also something important about collecting stones, if you want to do this. When I was a teenager, I was taught by somebody who this person was very much into nature and the outdoors. And one of the lessons that this person taught me was, when you take something from nature, ask it before you take it. Don't just pick something up and remove it from its home. First, ask. So, that may seem silly, but I don't know, I think I still do it. So, this one is from a different time. Maybe a year later from this stone, right? This was maybe a year later. And I can remember this place. And this time, I was more confident in myself. I gained some confidence because I gained some experience from this one to this one. I'm a little bit more experienced here. Not only that, I was I guess you could say I was a little more bold. In a good way. Now, there is something else about this stone. During this time, I also happened to get some very sad news about someone who I care about. So when I think about this stone, I think about that time. And it doesn't make me sad or angry. It makes me think about how much time has passed between this time and now. And it is a very, very long time, as a matter of fact, over 20 years. A lot of time passes. Okay, and now this one. Alright, this one is interesting. This one came from a place very far away. About another year had passed between this stone and this stone. And that confidence that I had here, well, I mean, it's just a coincidence. I mean, not on purpose, but this stone is larger, almost twice as large, maybe. And I can think about how at this time in my life, I think I felt twice as confident because I'm getting more experience. I can actually say that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to certain topics. I was still quite young compared to now. I can also tell you about the people who I was, who I had worked with when I got this stone. I think I could tell you about my first, how did they describe it? I think the word they use now is frenemy. A person who is maybe a friend, but also, someone who you might, very easily look at as an adversary to yourself. But I used to work with a person, and because we work with each other, we have to be professionals. But this person didn't like me, and I didn't like him. And we had our disagreements. A lot. Without getting into too many details, we had a physical disagreement, I guess you could call it that. And can't really say that either of us won or lost, but we kind of left each other alone after that. So want to know what I think about it now? Well, if there's ever a chance I get to see him again, I think the first thing I would say is, I'm sorry. Because I'm much wiser now. And I know how to settle things without getting physical. I know how to use my words. And that's a good thing. He might still not like me, and that's okay. And now we get to the show. This is good. I took this from a shore. And this was, I think I would call this one maybe 2 years apart here. So this one came from a shore in the ocean. Yeah. So this, when I think of this, it reminds me of a place and a time that the best day of my life happened. And I could talk about that day again and again, and I can describe it. What happened the night before, the morning of, the whole afternoon, that whole evening, and then late into the next day. I could tell you everything about that day. And that's before I was a dad, so this was the best day before being a dad. Something else about this show that I'm reminded of is it was also a very rough time. Want to know how rough? Remember that person I told you about here? Well, during this time, there wasn't just one of those people now. There was, Well, now there were many. But I was able to find happiness. And now all of them are memories. Those people. The happiest day. The place where I got this. All memories. And I've never seen or spoken to them again. So far. Alright, only 2 left. So this one is, okay, so this one is quite small. Okay, this one is about the size of a Cheez-It cracker or a crouton. And I picked up this one. Okay, this will sound silly, but one day I was walking to work, and for whatever reason, you know, on the street and on the road, there was this stone as I was walking. So I kicked it. And just kicking stones, looking down at the ground on my way to work. And I would kick it, and it would go, you know, some feet in front of me, like 10 feet, or, you know, 15 feet. Then I would go and I'd kick it again. And then I'd walk up to it, you know, I'd keep kicking it forward on my way walking to work. I would kick it again, then it would just stay in front of me, and I'd kick it again, and it stayed in front of me, and I'd kick it again. And then I finally got to work. And this stone that I had kicked the entire way there on my walk was just right there and in front of my foot. So I picked it up and I just said, okay, well, you know what? I kicked you the whole way here. Might as well keep you. After I asked it. So that's what I think about as the reason why I picked up this one. And now for the memory. What happened to me around this time changed my life. In good ways and bad ways. Before I picked up the stone, I was a different person. And then, you know, after I picked up the stone, some things happened. And now I am a completely different person. And then the last one is this. This one is, my memory is very fuzzy about this one. I actually have trouble remembering exactly where and when I got this one. Or where it's from. I just know that it was in the collection. When I look at it closely, I can see that maybe this is actually a piece of road. So, a little mystery to this one. But it's in the collection. I put it there for a reason, so I'll just keep it there. And that's it. Collection of stones. And memories. Yeah. So, I'm looking forward to adding more. And the way that I think of this is, I actually want to keep this collection small and manageable. So maybe one day, I could pass it down. Love you.